This is the most ambitious airport project in history. 6 runways, 185 million passengers, a city-sized terminal. But buried in all that hype is a question no one's asking. What happens if no one shows up? The airport in question is a massive project in development in the heart of Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. To complement the sparkling new aviation hub, the country is investing in a brand new airline, Riyadh Air. This is Saudi Arabia's second flag carrier, which will operate from the budding new aviation hub. The only question is, will the public match this enthusiasm? Saudi Arabia has something that rarely few nations have. And no, we aren't talking about oil. If you look at it on a world map, it's placed in the dead center of the globe. Its unique position puts it in a perfect spot to take over as the world's primary aviation hub. So possibly in the next few years, your connecting flight might land at Riyadh instead of Dubai. In that case, it would be wise to know what to look forward to. First things first, the name of this new airport is the King Salman International Airport. No surprise there, since most of this country's projects are named after its present or past monarchs. The project covers an area of about 57 square kilometers. This is enough space to allow for 6 parallel runways, plus 12 square kilometers of airport support facilities, such as residential and retail outlets. Now, even though the airport is quote-unquote brand new, the King Salman Airport will be built and expanded on the existing King Khalid Airport. This existing airport has been serving Riyadh for over 40 years. Despite having 5 passenger terminals, the airport can only serve 35 million people annually. In contrast, the new King Salman Airport aims to cater to 185 million passengers. The difference between these two numbers can't be any greater. It was crystal clear that a 4-decade-old airport can't do this job, so it had to be leveled up. Enter the new King Salman International Airport. The updated airport will absorb the existing terminals and add 3 new ones. This includes a new Terminal 6 and a VIP terminal for private flights and aircraft maintenance. Logically speaking, it was high time for Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia, to have a high-capacity airport. For comparison, the nearby Dubai airport handles more than 100 million passengers annually. Even Qatar's Hamad Airport handles more than double the travelers than the current King Khalid. If Saudi Arabia not only wants to compete but also exceed its Gulf neighbors, it needs an airport of the same standing. Much like any other Saudi project, the kingdom has spared no expense. The construction cost is pegged at $30 billion US. This puts King Salman Airport in a league of its own. To give you an idea, Poland is building a transport hub. It will include an airport, a metro station, and several highway connections. Despite the magnitude of the project, not to mention building from scratch, the project is costing Poland $32 billion, the same price tag as the sole King Salman Airport in Riyadh. Coincidentally, both projects are being designed by Foster Plus Partners, the design studio of the legendary Norman Foster. True to its reputation, the studio hasn't disappointed with the design of the King Salman Airport. You can endlessly walk in one direction without ever reaching a dead end. Sounds ridiculous, but its genius layout makes it possible. The new airport reimagines the traditional terminal as a single concourse loop served by multiple entrances. So instead of having separate, long terminals with dead ends, the airport's main passenger building forms a giant, unbroken loop or ring. There are several entry points spaced around this loop, so travelers can enter closer to where they need to go instead of all bunching up at one spot. This means less walking and less crowding. The loop lets in lots of natural light and provides views outside. It's designed to feel spacious and comfortable, not dark or confusing. Because the concourse is a continuous ring, you can always keep going in one direction. No need to double back. Signage and paths are clear, so getting from check-in to gates and to baggage claim on the way out is quite simple. Fit for an Arabian city, the King Salman Airport will take design cues from Riyadh's culture. Public spaces within the airport will host art installations and design motifs rooted in Saudi tradition. So the airport doesn't appear like an out-of-place block, but rather a skillfully integrated project within Riyadh. The designers have achieved this by connecting the King Salman Airport with the Wadi Loop. If you have even been to Riyadh, there's a network of dry river valleys known as the Wadi. They are common all across the country. The Wadi Loop at King Salman Airport will build on the existing natural wadi and connect the airport's existing West Midfield area to the new East terminals. This green loop weaves through the airport grounds, bringing natural scenery into the heart of the airport complex. Since natural light is a key element, it will reduce the need for artificial lighting. Making use of the vast free space, solar panels will be installed throughout the area's perimeter. This will not only reduce energy bills, but can also potentially land a LEED certification for King Salman Airport. With this massive upgrade, Saudi Arabia is getting confident about its numbers. The nation is on a mission to triple its aviation traffic by the end of the decade. King Salman Airport and the newly launched airline, Riyadh Air, will massively facilitate this process. The airport aims to accommodate up to 120 million passengers by 2030 and 185 million by 2050. The goal for cargo is to process 3.5 million tons a year by 2050. For more than a century, Saudi Arabia has relied massively on crude oil. When oil was struck in 1938, it lit the fuse for Saudi Arabia's meteoric rise, from desert sands to global industrial power. The kingdom has proven reserves of 266 billion barrels, according to government estimates. If these numbers are correct, Saudi Arabia's reserves will last for another 70 years at the average production rate of 10.2 million barrels per day. Even though that seems like a lot of time, the kingdom has to start preparing now. A future where this de facto Gulf leader can maintain its supremacy without relying on fossil fuels. Smartly enough, Saudi Arabia is investing in diversifying its income stream. Under its Vision 2030 program, the country is focusing on attracting foreign investment and visitors. This would explain why they have launched a string of projects related to entertainment, tourism, esports, and art. The capital city, Riyadh, is aiming to be among the top 10 most livable cities by 2030. That's why a majority of these projects are centered here. This includes Green Riyadh, a revolutionary project that aims to plant 7.5 million trees growing throughout the city. Launched in 2019 by King Salman bin Abdulaziz, the park sits at the heart of Riyadh. As the largest urban park in the world, it will offer a wide range of activities for visitors of all ages. The park also includes an Islamic-style garden, a maze garden, and a bird and butterfly sanctuary. But beyond that, there are far bigger projects with much higher stakes. Saudi Arabia is fully taking advantage of its Red Sea coastline. It's developing a resort community with 50 hotels and 8,000 rooms. The project will be scattered across 22 islands and 6 inland sites. It was first announced by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in July 2017. The Shura Island will host 11 hotels from various brands, including Hyatt, Fairmont, and Intercontinental. It will also include Saudi Arabia's first 18-hole golf course and clubhouse. The Ummahat Islands will feature a St. Regis resort and a Ritz-Carlton Reserve. This particular Ritz-Carlton Reserve is said to be the most expensive hotel in the Middle East, costing upwards of $3,000 per night. Both islands are accessible via a seaplane or a chartered boat. If this wasn't enough, this place also has a dedicated airport known as the Red Sea International. By now, it's pretty evident that Saudi Arabia is doing everything in its power to become a major tourist hub. There's Qiddiya City, the world's first ever city entirely dedicated to games, theme parks, and entertainment. Nestled in the Tuwaiq Mountains, Qiddiya City is 70 kilometers from King Khalid Airport and only 40 minutes away from downtown Riyadh. It will feature the world's longest, tallest, and fastest roller coaster, water parks, an esports district, and a Dragon Ball theme park. What's even more spectacular is the upcoming Formula One track. The track will feature a unique 20-story high first corner called The Blade. The circuit is expected to host the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix by 2027, potentially replacing the current Jeddah Street circuit. There's also the much talked about NEOM. It's a $9 trillion project, officially considered the most expensive construction project in the entire world. This isn't much of a shock since the kinds of things they want to build here are largely unheard of. From their linear glass city hosting 9 million people to a floating industrial hub in the shape of an octagon, the line between fiction and reality keeps getting thinner. But at some level, it's understandable why Saudi Arabia is doing this. Its rivals like Qatar and the UAE are doing pretty well for themselves. Qatar previously hosted the FIFA World Cup in 2022, and millions of tourists and business deals land in Dubai every year. This puts pressure on Saudi Arabia to up its game, even if that means completely rebranding itself. For decades, the world has seen Saudi Arabia in two shades, either as the holy site for Muslims or as a super-rich country with massive reserves of oil. But since the last decade, Saudi Arabia has changed the narrative. Its massive investment in infrastructure, fashion, and sports is finally paying off. The kingdom will be hosting the 2034 FIFA World Cup and its own version of the Grand Prix. Saudi Arabia is finally becoming the cool uncle on the block. With so many tourist-centric projects in the pipeline, the aim is to attract 150 million visitors annually by the year 2030. This means that the country has to drastically scale up its aviation to keep up with the demand. And Saudi Arabia knows that all too well. So in addition to launching a brand new airport, it has announced a complimentary airline, Riyadh Air. It was formally inaugurated in 2023, and the new King Salman Airport will serve as its base. 2 days after Riyadh Air's launch, the airline announced it had ordered 39 Boeing 787 Dreamliners. More recently, it has expanded its fleet further by ordering 25 A350 aircrafts. Riyadh Air is expected to contribute $20 billion to the nation's non-oil GDP. Even though the airline hasn't released its destination list yet, it's expected to serve 100 countries across 6 continents. But the real issue is much bigger. Riyadh Air will face very tough competition from the outset. After all, it's competing with giants like Emirates, Qatar Airways, and Turkish Airlines. These flagship carriers have more than 3 decades of experience in the aviation sector. In the case of Turkish Airlines, it was founded in 1933 and is fast approaching its 100-year mark. If Riyadh Air has to compete with them, it has to be perfect from the get-go. There's no space for making mistakes, especially since 2030 is not that far away. But even after investing this much into a new airport and an airline, there's no guarantee that people will use it. That's because the airport's success is heavily dependent on megaprojects like Qiddiya, NEOM, and Red Sea. Qiddiya and NEOM are already facing massive delays. If these projects fail to attract tourists, King Salman Airport would have no passengers to serve and would become another white elephant. Do you think that's possible? Let us know in the comments. If you want to know more about NEOM and other Arabian projects, these next videos are just for you. As always, don't forget to subscribe to Skybuilds for amazing content every week.